guys, Girl About Library, and I'm here today with part 1 of my 500 subscriber Q&A. To celebrate reaching 500 subscribers on my YouTube channel, I asked for you guys to submit questions to me, and I got so many amazing questions. Thank you guys so much for submitting those. So many, in fact, that I decided to split them up into 2 separate videos so that it wouldn't be too long. I could fully answer the questions without feeling like I needed to get through them quickly. I have the questions all pulled up here on my computer. Let's go. Question number 1 is from Bacher Oak Bars. I'm sure that I slaughtered that. I'm so sorry. But their question was, which book has affected you the most?
Starting with easy questions. Which book has most affected you? Oh.
So the book, or I'm gonna cheat, book series that I think most affected me is Harry Potter. In middle school, high school, even into college, Harry Potter was life. The story itself is obviously super magical and wonderful, and I really want to reread it as soon as I can because it's been a really long time since I've actually read the series, which makes me sad as I'm starting to forget some of the major plot points and details. But that's okay because what I learned from that book wasn't just this magical story, but also the amazingness of book communities. The community of people who loved and still love Harry Potter are just amazing. It was one of those few things growing up that you could be unapologetically nerdy about, which there's not enough of that in life. This was one of the first times in my young adult and adult life where it was socially acceptable to be super into Harry Potter. And it also taught me that books are something to be excited about. I mean, I'd never been to a book release party before Harry Potter. I don't even know if that was a thing before Harry Potter. But getting to the bookstore at midnight for a Harry Potter release became a normal thing, and that's just so cool. It just changed the way that I thought about reading as being this solitary thing where I enjoyed a book and then I moved on to the next book and I enjoyed that book, to being this thing that I share. And I'm sure that is influencing me now as I share on YouTube my reading. Question number 2 comes from Novelty Corner, and she asked, what book or books would you like everyone to read? I have so many answers. So the first book that comes to mind for me is Lily and the Octopus. It's probably the book that I recommend most often. I just love it, and I don't think enough people have read it because it's kind of canned as a dog story, which it is. It is about a dog. It is about a man and his dachshund who has cancer. But it is about so much more than it's a dog story. It will make you cry, it will make you feel all kinds of feelings, and I just think it is such a good book. I think it's good enough to be a gateway drug type book. That sounds awful, but you know what I mean, where maybe someone doesn't read that much or they're kind of fallen out of reading, and this could be a slump buster. That's a much more appropriate way to put it. I think it could get people reading that maybe haven't in a while or want to pick up something new. I think Lily and the Octopus is a great way to go for that. But I also would like for everyone to read All the Light We Cannot See. I think that is an amazing work of historical fiction, and it has such broad appeal because there are YA characters, but it's told in a much more adult type historical fiction language. I would also love for everyone to read Room by Emma Donoghue. I loved that book. And I think it has some really awesome messages about the power of family and the strength of women and the bond between women and children, and I love that book. And also Turtles All the Way Down recently. That is now a book that I want everyone to read. Ooh. And also Setting Free the Kites by Alex George, because that book is amazing. If you enjoyed Turtles All the Way Down or John Green, I think you would also enjoy Alex George. That book is so good and so beautifully written, and definitely has not gotten the attention I think it deserves on BookTube. Question number 3 is from Jessica at Breathe and Read, and she asks, has there ever been a book you regret buying or reading? No. I've always been a library person for books that I wasn't 100% sure about, so I don't tend to have buyer's remorse for books. I would say though that I have a pretty bad habit of entering giveaways on Goodreads that I probably shouldn't. Like, I go and I read the descriptions of the books and I think I'm entering for books that I would want to win, but then 2 weeks later when I actually get the email saying that I won a book and I read the description, I'm like, what? Why did I use my like small amount of good karma and ability to win things on that? Question number 4. Lindsay at The Wandering Reader asks, my question for you is, do you prefer buying books or going to the library, and why? That totally depends on the book for me. 95% of the time, probably, I go to the library to get books. And mostly for me, that's just out of necessity. Like, I have very specific books that I want to read. Usually they're new releases, and I mean, as soon as money starts growing on trees, I'll be at the bookstore more, but until then, like, who has the money for that? I certainly don't. And so thank God for the library. But there are also authors that like I run to the bookstore the day their books come out because I want to own a copy. Like, the most recent example obviously being John Green, but I feel that way also about like Rainbow Rowell, Alex George, Stephen Rowley, who wrote Lily and the Octopus. Basically anyone who is in my like books everyone should read list. Those authors, I will be at the door before the bookstore opens to make sure I get their book in my hand. Question number 5. April Sarah asked, if you could redo the ending of any book, what book would it be and how would you change it? This is such a good question, and I thought about this for a long time. I had an answer for like a popular book that everyone had read, but I don't usually get that upset about endings. The last book I read though where I really felt like conflicted about the ending was probably Brooklyn by Colm Toibin. I don't want to change the ending of that book, I just don't know exactly how I feel about it. And if you've read that book, you know why. But Brooklyn is a historical fiction novel about a girl who moves from Ireland to Brooklyn. She falls in love and then something happens and she has to go home, and she meets a guy there too. And I loved this book. If you haven't read this book, you should. It's a fairly quick read, but the final choice of the main character made me so happy and also so sad. Like, I genuinely didn't know what she was gonna do, if she was gonna choose Brooklyn or if she was gonna choose Ireland. If you've read that book, let me know below what you think she should have done, if you think she made the right choice. If you haven't read the book and you have a million books on your TBR like I do, this book also has a really good film adaptation for it. It's different than the book a little bit, but it's close enough that I think it's a good adaptation, and you should watch it because it is a really good movie as well. Alright, so those are the first half of the questions that I got. Thank you guys so much for submitting them, and I'll answer the second half of the questions in a future video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more bookish content. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.